So, just out of curiosity, you were living by Judge Memorial High School. Where did you go to high school?
I went to Highland High School because they have the English as a second language program. I was not supposed to go there, I think, because I was supposed to go to West High or whatever. I don't know, because we kept moving so much.
Yeah.
And but because I didn't speak any English, I had to be at Highland High School because they had a great English as a second language program.
Got it. And how old was your younger sister?
No, she was older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was 14. I want to say she was like 18, 19.
Got it.
So she was older than I was. But my sister's, very sensitive. She has just really good heart. So she probably was very, afraid to go through the journey because you got to remember, like, we are all comfortable with the way we live.
Of course.
And if I told you right now, leave everything you have right now.
Kidding.
And go to China, but you're gonna have to cross the sea.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to expect. You don't know who's gonna wait for you, where they're gonna take
Seriously.
you.
And at 14.
And at 14,
My
like,
gosh.
would you send your son right now for that journey?
Yeah, seriously. I have a niece that's 16. I wouldn't send her, at all. It'd just be terrifying.
But you know what? It's the love of your family. Because
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I'm gonna tell you this: if I had stayed in Mexico, I probably would have not done the things I did today.
Absolutely.
There's no opportunity for us,
Right.
And so, it's a whole different story.
Yeah, I love how you said that there's no room for excuses. I mean, there really isn't. There really isn't. I know some people that have been trying to get into real estate. They hate their 9 to 5. 6-7 years later, they still haven't done one thing. I mean, I'm like, have you even submitted an offer? Have you called a seller? Have you called the for sale by owner on KSL? No, because I'm still studying videos on YouTube. I'm like, oh, jeez.
It's funny you say that because recently I got a phone call from a friend and he said, I just finished my master. I'm going to my PhD. And I said, when are you going to work? And he said, oh, no, after my PhD. I said, remember, there's nothing more after PhD. At one point, you're going to have to go to work.
Yeah.
But sometimes we use things as an excuse, not to do things. But as easy as it is, I mean, I spoke that day, I always been fearful of taking that action, but yet I had to.
Yeah.
I remember when I was signing my very first flip. I was signing it in the trunk of a car with Trevor. You know Trevor, right?
Yeah.
He sold me my first flip, maybe because it didn't make sense for anybody else, but luckily it worked for me. And I'm signing in the trunk of his car. He's signing the offer right there, and I'm looking and I'm terrified. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I didn't even know how to run comps.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the areas. I came from cleaning toilets,
Yeah.
Recently, I was accepted at the 10,000 small business program, and one of my they give you like it's not like a mentor, but a business advisor.
Okay.
One of my business advisors came over to a house because they got to see what you do.
Oh.
And so I was renovating my very first home that I bought.
Yeah.
And he looked at the house and he said, how much you owe in this house? And I said, this house is paid for.
Yeah.
And he said to me, how do you do that? He was surprised.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know how many toilets I had to clean to pay this house? And he was shocked because he said, you know what? Out of all the students, I've never had anybody being so humble to say this. And I said, I'm not being humble. I'm telling you the truth.
Right. Oh my gosh.
That's what it took to pay my first home.
Wow. And I'm glad you brought that up because the other night you talked about how you had 3 houses free and clear before you went and bought houses in Texas free and clear. I wanted to ask you how did you get started in real estate, but actually I'm more curious on, because this was in a very short period of time. Most people take 30 years to pay off a house free and clear. You had 3 paid off in how little time?
My first one I paid in a year and a half.
Incredible! I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, talk about like you're saying you're being frugal and saving. I mean, that's like how you have to do it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? There's sacrifices. You aren't buying that soda pop that you said you're not buying because you are paying off a house that quickly.
Yeah, but
amazing.
you know what? The amazing thing about this is if you save at the beginning, and I highly recommend, obviously it's never late to start.
Yeah.
But if you're young and you're strong, go work. First of all, when you're very young, I want to say 10 to 20 or 25, you're working hard, but you're also learning. You're hungry for something, your passion.
Yeah.
And then, it will pay off eventually, because now I get to buy whatever soda drink I want. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
But it takes a lot of sacrifice, and sometimes people are not willing. I mean, I had tenants that are mad at me because of this or that. Like, I had people spit at me because they don't want to pay me. Like, things that you have to go through, sacrifices.
Yes.
And people are not used to that. People are not used to know. They're comfortable at home sitting, watching the TV and complaining about themselves. But they're going to take responsibility of saying, I want this. Let's plan how to do it. I want to tell you, there's always a way to do something. There's always a way, if you really want it so bad, to get it.
I love it. I totally agree with you, and I love it. I'm the son of 2 immigrants myself. My mom's from Mexico. I don't know. Did you know that? Did you know I'm half Mexican? Okay. I didn't know if you knew I was half Mexican. And my dad's from Japan, right? And so they met here in Salt Lake City, and they met at West High School in the English class, night school, late at night. So I always tell people my first language, because my first language was between the two of them. Learning English was broken English, right? That's my first language.
I love it.
Me and my sister grew up saying a lot of words wrong throughout elementary school.
You also had to go to ESL school.
Yes. And so I really appreciate the struggle that they had to go through. My dad came on a boat from Japan with $300 in his pocket, right? And was very similar in that he saved. He was not a spender. And my mother came here, and when she came to America, she had a brother, ironically, who lived in Sugar House. And so she went and stayed with her brother. My cousins ended up going to Highland High School too, actually. So, yes, the whole excuse thing, I think I don't buy it either, because I watched my parents start up a business. For a lot of people who may be listening on this call, my parents opened up Cami Hair, which is he sold it now. They're in their retirement phase, but one of the most successful hair salons in the entire state of Utah, right across the street from the Cottonwood Mall. So some people may have gotten their haircut there who are listening, but they worked really hard to get there, right? And so I think one of the best things that I took from my parents growing up was watching the work ethic, and that's what I think is going to be beautiful. Your kids are going to have this work ethic, seeing an example like your parent, like you, from you.
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. It may sound like, oh yeah, it's so easy, but it's not.
Yes.
I would have to wake up at 3 a.m. in the snow time and go clean buildings before the people showed up. I was there cleaning the buildings, making the appointments for the clients, going and giving bids, making the checks, everything by hand, paying the people, doing the bank accounts, taking care of the house, taking care of tenants, because immediately as I bought my first home, I put people in my basement, I put a roommate on my other house, all the money I was making for work, all the money I was making there, it was like, where do I get money to be able to pay what I want to pay? And eventually, as I got a HELOC on that house, then HELOC works differently, as you know.
Yeah.
It's easier to pay.
Yeah.
That became a blessing for me.